Hey guys, what's up? Back with another video. Today we continue our path down the Ring of Honor 2013 road. Today we have Honor versus Evil from Cincinnati, Ohio, February 16th, 2013. This is the final house show before the 11th anniversary pay-per-view. So there's going to be a lot of last minute build. And people getting wins to set up matches to go into the pay-per-view. Gaining momentum. So there's going to be a lot of gaining momentum in this event. So yeah, this is another house show, the third one of the year, 2013. There's the main event right there. Let's kick this off, shall we? There's the spine. Let's kick this off, shall we? We kicked off the show with none other than the man himself, that boy Jay Briscoe, as he took on God's gift to professional wrestling, God's gift, QT Marshall, a young-looking QT Marshall as well. Very weird. This is towards the end of his Ring of Honor run. This is probably the first time I remember seeing QT Marshall years before AEW started, so this is pretty cool. This match was an acceptable opener. It was a very acceptable. Jay was amazing as usual. Being that badass. And QT Marshall was a great heel he was a great heel, and to want to see get punched in the face, and Jay Briscoe was the right guy to punch him in the face. So yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, good opener. Very solid stuff. Jay Briscoe picks up the win, gaining momentum. Going into the 11th anniversary show where him and Mark would team up to take on Red Dragon, who officially named themselves Red Dragon by this time, by the way, so I can actually start calling them that from now on. They're not on this show, though, Red Dragon. Kyle O'Reilly is, but Bobby isn't. Anyway, next match, we have Jay Lethal taking on Timidius Thomas. This is one of those matches where you kind of knew going in who the winner was going to be, because basically Jay Lethal is the person who's facing Kevin Steen at the 11th anniversary show, so he kind of needed the win here. It was an alright match. I think Timidius Thomas got a lot of offense in. Maybe 60 to 40% of the match was Timidius Thomas, like he kind of dominated a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much considering that Jay Lethal was getting the title shot. But, Jay Lethal made him look good. Apart from the finish where it kind of seemed a bit botched towards the end, where he went for the lethal injection, which means like the springboard cutter, like the RKO. And instead of going on his belly, like that, he went backwards. So Timidius Thomas kind of fucked up Jay Lethal's finish. Didn't matter. Jay Lethal picked up the win. It was the right result, as Jay Lethal is getting the title shot against Kevin Steen at the 11th anniversary show. Anyway, we move on to the next match, which is Mark Briscoe versus Spider Nate Webb. Yeah, pretty cool stuff right here. It was the chicken versus the spider, and the chicken won. Kung Fu Chicken was able to defeat the Spider on this night. Spider Nate Webb. Never seen him before. This is my first time seeing Nate Webb. I didn't really think too much of him. It was kind of a comedy match for most of it, but it was an okay comedy match. But it was always good to see one of them boys in action, Mark Briscoe. As I said before, I'm a sucker for Briscoe matches. So seeing both Mark and Jay compete in singles matches warmed my heart. It really did. It's getting easy, by the way, to watch them. Yeah, I don't think I've said that in a while. I don't want to make the Ring of Honor reviews all about me. How am I coping with the Briscoes stuff? So yeah, it's getting a bit easy to watch. Mark picks up the win. It was an okay matchup, more of a comedy squash. Anyway, next match we have Roderick Strong taking on newcomer to Ring of Honor ACH. This match was fantastic. I was expecting more of the same with the build-wise, considering that Roderick Strong has a match against Michael Elgin at the 11th anniversary show, which is the next show after this, by the way. I forgot to mention that. But, I was expecting more of the same, like a so-so match, and then Roderick Strong picks up the win, and blah, blah, blah. But it was actually an exciting matchup. It was actually pretty decent. ACH brought it, he brought a lot of high flying, and Roderick Strong had to kind of bring him down back to reality with backbreakers, and it was pretty awesome to watch. Pretty decent matchup. And Roderick Strong did pick up the victory, as you would expect. But ACH did prove that he was a really good match, and I would like to see this match maybe on a bigger show than just a house show, maybe like a pay-per-view with more time. But yeah, decent stuff. Big thumbs up to this one. Next matchup, we had Charlie Haas, the outlaw Charlie Haas, taking on Pepper Parks, the future Braxton Sutter, or as we know him today, is the Blade from AEW, in the tag team with Butcher and the Blade. The one who's married to the Bunny, or Ali, or whatever you want to fucking call her. That was pretty cool. It was an okay matchup. I didn't really think too much of it. It was pretty cool to see Pepper Parks, as Pepper Parks here. It was an okay matchup. Charlie Haas needed the win because he was facing BJ Whitmer at the 11th anniversary show. So, I didn't like the finish as much though. Charlie Haas brought his beer keg into the ring, he had like a case of beer, which he used, it kind of reminded me of what Stone Cold used to do, but kind of like a rip-off of Stone Cold a little bit. And he brought the beer in and he tried to use the beer keg as a weapon, but the referee took it off him. He pushed the referee down, which should have been a disqualification. Even Nigel McGuinness on commentary was like, wait, that should be a disqualification. Like, come on, ref, ring the bell. But as the ref was being pushed down, Charlie Haas grabbed the beer and he basically threw beer in Pepper Parks' face and then rolled him up for the pinfall. Kind of a cheap win for Charlie Haas, but it was what it was. Anyway, the aftermath, Charlie Haas was at ringside and he decided to pick on some random crew member, and because the crew member had one of his beers, and the crew member opened the can of beer, shook the beer, and then opened it right in Charlie Haas's face, so it squirted all over Charlie's face. Didn't think I'd ever say that in a review, squirted over Charlie's face. Charlie Haas then beat him up, and then I found out while he was beating him up, it was the future Cheeseburger, the future wrestler called Cheeseburger. He was working as a crew member. Awesome stuff. Good to see Cheeseburger. I think he was working like a timekeeper, as a timekeeper, kind of a ringside crew person. So good to see Cheeseburger. Almost said Jungle Boy there, wrong fucking person. Yeah, Cheeseburger did all right, and Charlie Haas gave him a good beating. He did this Cesaro swing, but he kept doing it into the barricades, those hard ROH barricades. So a fun beatdown, and it really got a lot of sympathy on Cheeseburger and a lot of heel heat on Charlie Haas going into his match with BJ Whitmer at the 11th anniversary show. Anyway, speaking of BJ Whitmer, he's in action right now. He's in action next as he takes on Kyle O'Reilly, one half of Red Dragon. No Bobby Fish on this show. He wasn't a part of the show. I thought he was, but he wasn't. This was very surprising. I was actually very surprised with the outcome of this match. It was a good match. Decent matchup. BJ Whitmer was... The story of the match was that BJ Whitmer has a history of multiple injuries. He had a neck injury, he had his arm in he had a sleeve, a very long sleeve on his arm, he had a padding on his arm from an injury. He had a leg injury. So Kyle O'Reilly was using his MMA skills to focus on those areas, and I was kind of expecting Kyle to win, but kind of surprisingly, BJ Whitmer was able to pick up the victory by submitting Kyle O'Reilly with some MMA of his own. So kind of surprising victory there for BJ Whitmer. Good solid matchup. Awesome stuff. Let's move on to the main event. This match got the most time. It went about 40 minutes, so if you love a long match, you probably love this match. 40-minute matchup. We had Davey Richards, Michael Elgin, and Adam Cole representing the ROH All-Stars, taking on the team of Scum of Kevin Steen, Jimmy Jacobs, and Steve Corino. Very solid action. There you go. There's the picture of them from the actual match. Anyway, I'm going to put that back there. So very solid matchup. Awesome stuff. I was very impressed with Michael Elgin in this match. He had to overcome the numbers game on several occasions. Good heel work. Good heel work from Scum as Jimmy Jacobs and Steve Corino somehow got the numbers game into their advantage. multiple times. They spiked power drove Adam Cole on the floor, so he was taken to the back. He wasn't eliminated, but he was taken to the back. So Davey and Elgin had to do a 2-on-3 situation for a little bit, and then they eliminated Davey, but using a punch with a fistful of coins. So it was like Steve Corino had some coins in his jacket, and he basically punched Davey Richards and knocked him out, and then of course Kevin Steen put the exclamation on Davey Richards' time in this match with the package power driver, putting Davey away. Solid stuff, and made Davey look very strong. But then it came down to Michael Elgin, and of course Adam Cole came back out later on in the match when Elgin was like 3-on-1. He ran rough shots, but then he got very weirdly he almost eliminated pinned Steen for the first time in over a year, almost. But then as the referee was pulled out by Corino, Jimmy Jacobs got his spike, like an actual steel spike, and spiked Adam Cole right in the testicles. So that was painful, and not a good night for Adam Cole. First he got spiked power drove on the floor, and then he gets an actual steel spike to the balls. So not a good night for Mr. Adam Cole. But anyway, that was enough for him to get eliminated after an F-stank, which is basically Kevin Steen's version of the F5, eliminating Adam Cole. And then it came down to Elgin versus all three members of Scum. Elgin did pretty impressive. He eliminated Corino and Jimmy Jacobs, but then he fell victim to the numbers game after Corino was already eliminated. Corino didn't leave ringside, and it was basically one of those kind of a cheap way to end the match where it was like he got distracted and he got rolled up basically. But he kicked out of the first roll up and then got rolled up again and then he got pinned. It was kind of a weird ending. Anyway, yes, so Scum wins. Kevin Steen remains undefeated going into the 11th anniversary show against Jay Lethal. Speaking of Jay Lethal, he came out and brawled with Scum for a little bit. Got outnumbered. Him and Elgin got outnumbered, but then they were saved by the Briscoes, who ran off Scum, and then the Briscoes did they basically told everyone thanks for attending the show and have a safe journey home. The farewell speech for to end the night. So yeah, pretty solid stuff. It was a pretty solid house show. There was also a segment early in the night which I forgot to mention. It was in between the Charlie Haas and whatever the other match was. Charlie Haas and Roderick Strong match. But in between those two matches, there was a Hoopla Hottie segment where Truth Martini had come out with two hotties, two hot women, and one of them was the future Mrs. Carrying Cross, Scarlett Bordeaux, who then took off her jeans and showed this very, 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 very tight, small shorts, and it basically led to Adam Cole super kicking Truth Martini. Just thought I'd bring it up because I thought it was a very fun segment, and it also made up. It also made up to the seeing Scarlett and seeing that other woman was pretty nice to see. It made up for what I saw the other day at the Royal Rumble 2000. Not going to mention that. Anyway, that's going to be it now, guys. I gave it a score 7 out of 10. For the most part, it was a build-up show to build to 11th anniversary, so there was a lot of predictable wins on this show. But the main event really picked up towards the end. ACH Roderick Strong was awesome. The main event, I really enjoyed the main event. And as I said before, it's always good to see the Briscoes when they're always warm my heart. Awesome stuff. So yeah, 7 out of 10. I think that's very safe to say. Good show. Probably skip some of the matches if you're going to watch this. Just watch the main event and watch ACH versus Roderick Strong. But I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. Big thumbs up. And that's going to be it now, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. And I'm out.